Yo, welcome to the Bold Studio Space podcast. I'm your host, Regan, with my assistant, Colin. Hey, quick disclaimer. Like every normal human being, I made the mistake and did not record or hit the record button at the very, very beginning of this thing. And so halfway through, I realized that. So I would say probably about the first 10 minutes of this thing is going to be the scratch audio from the cameras. We still think that everything that we had spoken about at the beginning of the episode is great and it's worth sharing. So quick disclaimer, you're going to hear that. But don't worry, give it about 10 minutes. It'll kick back in. All right, ready for the episode? Here we go.
Okay, so this one was good. Okay. You just recently saw the Dune 2.
I did. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously that was a remake of an older
Correct.
movie.
Yes.
Having just seen it, basically, what are your thoughts on remakes and reimagination, or should people stay true to source material? So it was a book first, then they did an old movie, and then they've done this movie. What are your thoughts on that?
I think if you can take a book and turn it into a movie, that's always fun for me. I'll be honest and say I'm not really a reader by nature. Does that make sense? I'm more of a visual learner. Just to ingest things visually. So I love movies. Now, should you do remakes? I think it depends on who's actually directing. And here's why I say that, because if you go back and look at the Batman, the
Christopher Nolan?
well, so that one, but Zack Snyder's.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there was.
I have thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say we'll get there, but there's technically two versions.
Yeah.
Of that video. One of them was actually a remake from the original. I know this isn't the same thing, but the director had his own vision for that, and it's a lot better than what was put out originally. Okay, Lord of the Rings is great. Haven't seen a remake of that yet, so that's been pretty good.
They are, so there's that Prime Video series they've done.
Yeah.
That's not a remake, but it's just sort of a spin-off of Lord of the Rings. I don't think it's, have you seen it?
No, I've heard about it, but I didn't see it.
I don't think it's as good.
No.
I mean, you can watch it and let me know, but, I mean,
Why don't you think it's good?
it doesn't feel like Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
It feels like some things, or just some other fantasy, like World of Warcraft or something like that. Like it's not
Interesting.
It doesn't feel like Lord of the Rings. And actually, when Courtney and I started watching it, we were excited because we both like Lord of the Rings.
Right.
But we had to basically tell ourselves and trick ourselves into thinking this is not Lord of the Rings, so that we could watch it, so that we could bear to watch this show that didn't feel like Lord of the Rings to us.
So, okay, but technically that's not a remake.
No.
That's a spin-off.
But it didn't even have the same vibe to it.
Okay.
It was like a completely different thing. So we were just like, in order to watch this. Now they did have tie-ins later, but I mean, we just were like, we're gonna tell ourselves this is something else.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. And actually, they're making I think they're making a live-action Gollum movie with the same director from the Lord of the Rings movies.
That looks interesting.
And Andy Serkis as Gollum.
Like Gollum.
Yeah.
See, now that I would go see.
That's gonna be good.
Because if you think about it again, the director with the original vision, the intent to do either a remake or a sequel or whatever, that's what makes sense. I think if you're having different people take on their own interpretation of stories and how they go about producing that, it's either going to be a flop or a fail.
So how did you feel about, because they've had so many different Batman movies in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
They had the Dark Knight trilogy,
Which is great.
They had Zack Snyder's Justice League Batman.
Subpar.
And then they have actor's name. His name is escaping me. The director of the Batman. That's, that doesn't help. They're all Batman, but the one that had the Riddler, the new Riddler, he was more like a serial killer type.
How new is this?
This is the guy, very new. Like it came out 2 years ago, maybe. It's the guy that played the vampire in the Twilight.
Oh yeah. Zack Snyder.
No.
Well, no, that's not the actor. That's the director.
No.
No.
We have information at our fingertips. I'm gonna look this up. I can't remember his name.
So keep on calling him Edward Colin. That's his name in Twilight. But Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
So he was the actor.
And the director is Matt Reeves.
Oh, okay, right. Because
He also did. He's also done some like Planet of the Apes
right
movies.
Did not enjoy really even Planet of the Apes. That's just like my vibes now.
Like the War and the Rise of and all those. They're making a new one.
I know. I'm tired of it. I'm stop with the apes.
I actually really like those movies.
Don't.
Courtney had never seen them before, and so I actually there was one available for free, and I was like, let's watch it. I just want to see what you think about this. And so we watched it. And she was like, that was actually really good. Like it had enough of a story and enough action and stuff in it. And we actually watched all of them.
Wow.
We even rented some of them. Like we paid to see these movies. I've seen them before. But
so are any of you out there Planet of the Apes fans? Because if you are, please holler at Colin and let him know that you're a fan and you stand with him. Because I'm just not.
Stand with me.
I don't. I think it's just the idea of a talking ape that's trying to come back and take on civilization is the stupid concept to me.
But it's more than that.
I mean, probably.
They were doing like some like genetic testing, enhancing stuff. And he was just a really smart chimp, and he turned into.
I love how we got from Batman to chimps.
Yeah,
I'm not mad.
They're related.
Yeah.
Loosely by Matt Reeves. That's how they're related. Anyway, yeah, it's.
Are you suggesting I go watch them?
I think you should give them a try if you haven't seen it. Now I will say that the first one.
That's the first one I watched. I haven't gone back since.
So they get better.
Really?
Like it's less human and civilization focused and more focused on the apes in that. Like it actually turns. Now I don't know what this new one is about.
Okay.
I still will see it because I think they're just good movies. But also just from a like visual effects standpoint, like the motion capture and everything that they use for it is really good too. I haven't actually, I don't think, seen the trailer, or I might have seen pieces of it.
Well, it's gotten 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, so most people like it.
And the fact that this is like number 5.
I think after you do 3, stop. Just stop the movies.
I kind of agree with that, but I think when you have something that you can keep expanding on a story like this,
Yeah.
I think you can keep going.
Okay, but Fast and Furious.
That one needs to die.
I'm a huge Fast and Furious fan.
Like not literally die, but it needs to go away.
Yeah, I agree. Because I was like, Fast and Furious, great. Too Fast, Too Furious. That was weird. But
Yeah, I don't like the naming of it,
yeah,
but
it was like, all right, cool. And then like, Too Fast, Too Furious. All right, it was great, cool cars.
they just had 10,
Yeah.
and they're doing 11. They actually they either just started filming or they're about to start filming this summer for 11.
John Woo, you should have stopped with like Fast 7. That was great.
Have you ever walked out of a movie theater?
Yes.
So
Not those, but yes.
we went and saw. Was it 10?
You
It was-
walked out of Fast 10?
It was 9 or 10, and we were sitting there. It was late, and this was before we had kids, and we were just.
Dang, this is even before you had kids. You walked out.
Yeah, I think so.
That's almost offensive, but
Yeah.
I'm not mad. But
So we were sitting there. I don't even think we got halfway through. But
why did you leave?
what's the character that died in
Paul
like,
Walker.
No, not him. The He just kind of disappeared. You assumed he died.
Oh, right, but he's always in the background doing something with his kids. And as far as the movies go, so we chose to leave him
I
out
think
of
he
this.
died in a wreck.
Oh, you're talking about Han.
Yes.
Love that guy.
So they brought him back
Yeah.
for whichever one that was. And after that,
Yeah.
that scene felt so forced.
Yep.
I was like, are you enjoying this? And she was like, no. Yes, we can go.
Oh,
no,
I was
I'm
not.
not.
Wow, she was
No, I'm not
invested.
enjoying this.
Okay, well, okay.
And
All right.
I was like, okay. And I always kind of like worry what other people think about someone walking out of a movie theater.
Hey, and we're back with the real audio with this thing. Okay.
Yes,
we'll keep going.
Yeah.
We'll keep going. So Han
Sorry,
came back. You left forced.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
he
I know, my
came
bad.
back, and
God dang. That's me too. Just winning on all fronts today. Don't judge me. Keep going.
man, I can't even tell you how much I wish that it was just recording. Like,
I honestly, genuinely thought that it was until I looked over and it was just green.
yeah. All right. So
Yep.
the character comes back,
Yep.
and we were like, yeah, let's leave.
Okay.
And I think I said something along the lines of like, okay, you get up and go first. Just so it's not obvious that we're just walking out of the movie theater.
Right.
Like if
That's so sad.
if these other people are enjoying it,
Yeah.
I don't want to like
Ruin it for them.
ruin it for them and,
Yeah.
and them all of a sudden think, oh, this actually must be bad. These people are leaving. They paid to see this movie and they're
Right.
leaving. So she went out first, and then I a few minutes later walked out. And I don't think it was obvious, but yeah, we walked out of a Fast and Furious because it was that bad, and I still have not gone back and watched it.
You know, I think I can't remember. I mean, first of all, to each his own, and because they really aren't getting any better at this point. And even the one where Don has to go save his son, maybe that's the same one. He has to go save his son, whatever, because they kidnapped him or whatever. And yeah, that was just like, all right, we're forcing stories now. But there was a show that I think we walked out on just because it was highly inappropriate for no good reason. I'm like,
A
man,
show, or a movie you walked out?
movie we walked out on,
Okay.
yeah. I don't like movies like that. I mean, if it's gonna be like bloody, gory, or like sensual for like story's sake, all right, I can forgive that. But if it's like I'm just gonna throw shock value for shock value's sake, I don't like that.
I've not ever had to walk out of a movie
Yeah,
for that reason.
I did.
But, and this is kind of sad actually, so they had the something 40, 50 year anniversary something for one of the Star Wars movies, like the original trilogy.
Oh yeah,
We went and saw that. Those movies were great for their time, but they're very boring. If you go back and watch them, like A New Hope, all of those.
oh, 100%.
Yeah. So we walked out of those, or that one.
You walked out of it just because it was boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect
But
that.
if a Star Wars fan hears that, they're like, you walked out on the original trilogy.
You will get lit up.
How dare you?
You will get
the
lit up.
audacity of you to do that. I'm unfollowing your page. I'm not listening to any more podcasts.
Oh no, you lost a follower.
Oh no, we lost a follower.
Now, see if they start going by the herds, then we're in trouble.
Yeah.
But
I mean-
I don't disagree with you
Yeah.
because in this year, I mean, I remember watching them as like a 7-8-year-old kid with my older brother because that was the cool thing. He had like an actual, hold on,
Like the ships?
yeah, what's the ship?
Millennium Falcon?
Thank you. I almost called
Now
it
we're
this-
really going to lose
Yeah, I
followers
know.
for that.
Listen, I'm like 3 cans in, a can deep of Red Bull in, so my brain's just firing. Anyway, my brother had one of those. I was
Yeah.
like, "What is this? It's cool." He's like, "Oh, bro, we should watch Star Wars." And as a 6-7-year-old kid, the only thing that was cool was the TIE fighters, Millennium Falcon, and lightsabers. Like that was it.
Yeah.
In
we had,
those three.
growing up, like all of those toys.
Oh,
we didn't
I
have a
didn't-
Millennium Falcon.
That was cool.
But, I mean, we had so many Star Wars toys. You know those
'Cause it
like
was
cool,
cool.
like those like drawstring backpacks
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah.
get for free at events and things.
Yeah, everywhere.
So we had one of those that was full of like the little, 6-inch action figure things.
Oh yeah,
We had a whole bunch of those.
Right.
We had 2 of the gunships,
Okay.
the clone trooper gunships,
Uh-huh.
and
we had a couple of like the Jedi fighters, and I think I had a TIE interceptor.
Weird.
We had a whole bunch of that stuff.
Weird.
And we played with it, but it was more just like, we're just gonna set this up as if it's a scene from
And just
one of the
leave
movies.
it.
And yeah, leave it for a little bit.
I love that,
I mean,
though.
it was fun setting it up. Like we had so many clone troopers that we almost had enough to like do a whole like army of
Yeah.
clone troopers, or at least that's how I'm remembering it. It felt like a lot, but it might.
So
have
you're
only
telling
been,
me
like,
you grew up
20.
a Star Wars nerd?
Yes,
100%.
We have lightsabers.
I still have lightsabers.
Like the first.
You were going to get rid of one, and I was going to take it because I
I still have
love
it. If you would like to buy a lightsaber, I have one.
Yeah,
Basically,
what is it? What
it's-
lightsaber is it? Whose lightsaber is it?
It's Luke Skywalker's lightsaber,
Bam, there you go.
and it's
if you want Luke
it's
Skywalker.
basically it's not unopened. It's definitely opened, but it's like unused. It stayed in the box for the last 6 years.
See,
7
I can't
years.
tell if that makes you like a more of a diehard fan because it's in the box and it's still pristine, or like
I
still
think it
pristine,
does.
or if it makes you less of a fan because you didn't actually use it.
I mean, there's people that's what people like, just collect
I know,
stuff.
but then there's
I've-
people who are like, I'm gonna live vicariously.
I view the diehard fans as people that buy Star Wars stuff and don't open
use
it,
it, man.
because you're going to spend money to just own this thing, not even use it or touch it or anything. It is just in a box. You never. That is a diehard fan.
That's weird. I mean, I don't disagree with you because that's what
Now the
they're
people
called collectibles at the end of
Yeah.
40 years. But
Yeah. But that was
yeah, that's a lot.
we had a lot of Star Wars stuff. Like
I did not. I just realized that Star Wars was cooler as the older that I got. Because when you come back to like, I also didn't like the fact that they did it like, what was it, 3, 4, and 5?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't like, because I remember specifically like, why is this numeral 3, 4, and 5? Like, doesn't make sense. I'm like, I don't know, it's how they made it. And then fast forward to my teenage years, like, oh, hey, guess what? We're going to come out with the prequels of 1, 2, and 3. And I was like, that doesn't
So
make
3, 4, and
any
5,
sense.
or not 3, 4, and 5. 4, 5, and 6
Was that
were
oh,
the
yeah,
original.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6 is the original.
Those were not going to be 4, 5, and 6 originally.
I know.
They were just going to be 1, 2, 3. Or
Right.
just Star Wars, actually.
Right.
And then he decided to like go back and do the prequel trilogy, and that didn't actually confuse me. Like I understood that it was a prequel.
It didn't
and they
confuse me. I just didn't like it.
Were, oh well.
I was like, why?
I liked it just because it was Star Wars. Like I didn't care about that. I actually remember going to see Episode 2 in theaters. I don't remember seeing Episode 1 in theaters.
I do, and it was awesome.
The first lightsaber that I got was Darth Maul's lightsaber.
That's the first one you got?
That is the first one I got. Would that not be the coolest first lightsaber to get?
Yeah, I'm a little jealous because
That
that
was-
was not my.
Actually,
Out of every Jedi and Sith Lord,
I went as Darth Maul for Halloween that
that's
year.
my favorite. That's my favorite.
And Dylan went as Jar Jar Binks. I mean, it was either that
Leave
or
my
Queen
comments to
Amidala,
myself.
so he went with Jar Jar Binks.
I can see Dylan dressing.
Now
up
he
in
did
the-
redeem himself later, and he went as Jango Fett.
I mean, that's better.
This was a few years later.
He
but
didn't want to go as Queen Amidala.
No, I actually think my mom did.
Oh, okay.
I think she did, and I think my dad was just maybe some generic Jedi or something.
He should have gone as the Emperor.
Why they didn't have for episode 2? Well, I don't know. No, not episode 1. They didn't have.
I mean, he was in there, but people didn't know he was in there.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't as big a reveal. Did you? When I went and saw those, I didn't know that Palpatine was the Emperor.
I mean, you're not supposed to know.
Well, every fan of Star Wars growing up with like the 4, 5, and 6 that knew who Palpatine was
Yeah, knew.
knew.
Yeah,
And I technically should have known that.
I mean,
But I was just as surprised.
this is where I remove your fan card.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think it should. Not as much as the Jar Jar Binks costume for my brother, but that one needs to go.
Do you have pictures of that? I'd love to see that.
Actually,
Find them, and we're gonna put them in the video. Right.
yeah, I actually
See that? This doesn't look cute. It's adorable.
I'll send them to you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Do that to me.
I actually showed that at his wedding for my best man speech.
You are the best / worst.
And we also did that Star Wars movie.
right. Did you play the Star Wars movie at your wedding?
Does that redeem the
Yeah,
Star Wars?
I'll
Yeah,
give it back.
we
I'll
made
give
a
it back.
movie. Okay. No, yeah. So
I love that for you.
I was going to play the Star Wars movie. It was like a 5-minute long. I think I've shown you before.
Yeah, I did. I saw it.
And so I redid
Great
all
for-
of the special effects and everything,
Yeah,
like
that was
actual
awesome.
legit lightsaber effects.
And he even
stuff.
put like the door sounds of like the bay doors closing and stuff. I was impressed.
Yeah.
With the limited knowledge of video skills, but it was great.
Yeah. I mean, this was like college.
That's what well, still limited knowledge of
Yeah.
video skills, but it was great.
So I was going to show that, the whole thing.
Oh, at his wedding.
At his wedding for part of my best man
I probably would
speech.
have killed you, but it's fine.
And the closer we got, I was like, he would actually kill me. He would kill me.
Absolutely.
I need to not do that. So
It's okay to be
I
brothers and
did
tell a story.
a version of it where it's like, Star Wars opening crawl thing. It does the entire, because I redid it.
Right.
It did the entire opening crawl that we wrote, 3 paragraphs. And it does the little pan down thing. And then it just goes to the credits.
But he was sweating.
He was sweating so bad. He kept coming up to me and he was like, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't.
And you said,
I
"I
was
got
like,
you."
it's playing.
it's
It's,
all right.
on the screen. Watch.
I can't.
Enjoy.
Happy marriage day.
Now I will
Congratulations.
say that there were a lot of people that didn't get it.
Oh, that was just specifically for you and him. That was okay.
Right.
That's fine.
So there were some people that were like, oh, that's hilarious.
Right.
And then there were like several that were like,
Why are we watching this?
why
for?
did it mess up? It's like, no, that was the joke.
That was, haha, joke's on you.
Did you not see him over here panicking, sweating?
Did you see me not
His
get up and
hands
be
are
like,
sweating more than mine do when I get on a plane. And that's saying something.
Is it terrible that I would love to see him like that nervous?
I wish that
I'm
someone
sorry,
had
Dylan.
recorded. I wish that
sorry.
someone had recorded the video of
of
that
that
whole
actually
thing.
happening.
Yeah.
That's just both terrible and amazing. I'll give
Yeah.
it to you.
But in leading up to showing that video, I showed the pictures of the Jar Jar Binks
See,
costume.
he knew. He was like, oh my gosh, it's coming.
I mean, I think that the Jar Jar Binks costume was enough to kill someone.
Oh,
Like that was,
Enough grounds to be like, I'm coming after you
well, yeah.
and your little dog.
Well,
too.
and just if I showed that to the public,
For sure.
he
He's
would
like,
just die.
he's like mortified.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you did it. You killed your brother on the inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I went a step further and
So, kind of background. Do you think? I know you asked me the question, but I'm going to return the question. Do you think movies should be remade?
I think we have too many remakes right now.
Agreed.
I think it's just
I think-
oversaturated
Yeah, that's a good word for that.
of just remakes. And for example, they had the Moana movie, the Disney
Right, yeah.
come
Which
out
I actually
a few
loved,
years-
by the
It's
way.
a good movie. They just yesterday, I believe, released the trailer for the second one,
Oh, I know. And it looks great.
and they're also doing a live action one.
That
Yes.
I'm a little bit worried
It
about.
hasn't been long enough
I know.
to do live action. Part of the appeal
Agreed.
of live action is like, I can't think of I mean, you could do Lion King. Aladdin. Aladdin is a good one.
Did not
that one was
enjoy
good
Lion
with Will
King.
Smith.
I did not watch it. Probably no.
It was good. He did a good job. He had huge shoes to fill,
Robin Williams.
not replacing, but
Adapting,
playing that character.
Yeah.
But that was a good one. So part of the appeal for that is like that was your childhood. You grew up, and it was amazing growing up. Like you.
Oh,
not
absolutely.
you, but like
No.
you love that movie,
Right.
Whatever movie it is,
Right.
And then you're an adult now, and you see a live action version of it, and you're like, oh, this is cool. This is what I imagined it was when I was a kid. It was animated, but I imagined it was real. And
Looking
now,
like this.
looking like this, and
Yeah.
now it is
Yeah.
real. And so, like, that's the appeal for remakes. Moana
What was that?
has been
5 years ago?
something like that.
6 years ago, something like that?
Not very long.
No.
Now,
I agree.
I'm glad they're doing a sequel. I
Right.
think that one's going to be good.
Right.
But I don't think they need to do live action yet.
I don't think they
need-
should do a live action one, period.
Well, yeah. But if they do, they need to wait a much longer
30
time.
years.
Yeah. 20.
Give or take.
15. We'll say 15. Just enough for the kids that saw it as kids.
Can be like, oh, I
to be
appreciate
adults
this.
now. So
Yeah.
maybe like 5-year-olds.
Well, I also remember at time when I was a kid, like going to the movies, if it wasn't an animated or like a cartoon thing, I almost wasn't interested in seeing it. Like this isn't going to be
If
as
it
good.
wasn't
if
animated?
it wasn't animated or a cartoon, because we grew up with now Disney back in the day. Like Disney movies were great. Like cartoons were just fantastic. You could really, I mean, Saturday morning cartoons, fantastic.
I could go through a whole list
I mean,
of Saturday morning
same,
cartoons.
same.
Yeah.
And that's where I think I loved, like my first love for cartoons and like animation and all that kind of fun stuff came from. So going to the movies, you're like, oh, this is going to be 10 times better than
Because
what's
it's
on
in a theater.
right? And
you
they
get to
spent
eat
time-
popcorn
oh,
while
dude.
you're watching it.
On a massive screen. Like,
Yeah.
that's what made cartoons fun. So that's when I was like going to the movie theaters and watching live action at the time. I was almost hesitant to be like, well, this isn't going to be as good or as entertaining as a cartoon until I saw, I can't remember the first movie that I saw that was live action in theaters. But I do remember it being like, oh, this is actually, this is just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
And so I do agree. If you're going to do a cartoon, give it some time before you do live action.
And
but-
I think so. For me personally, specifically with Aladdin, that one was good. That was a good remake,
I have to go back and watch it. I
like
haven't watched
live
it.
action remake. There was one part I don't know that I necessarily want to say specifically. There was a musical number that they added that I didn't think was necessary.
Okay.
And it was not in the original movies.
Is it good?
No,
Oh,
I don't
well.
think so. It doesn't fit. It doesn't feel like it fits
That's
to me.
weird. That is weird.
So, in my opinion, if you're going to do a live action remake,
Right.
stick to, I don't want to say
The-
like the source material,
But keep the basics.
not like original
Right.
source material,
Keep
but
it the
like
basics.
yeah, whatever the animated one was, do that just live action.
I agree with that. I do. Well, okay, so again, back to the circle around. I think, and this is the answer I'm going to stand on, if you're going to make a remake of a movie or turn a book into a movie, either really do the good job on the source material and like kind of hone in on that. And I mean, obviously you have to vet your directors, who's ever going to direct and
Yeah.
DP this thing. But at the same time, like again, for example, when Harry Potter came out, I didn't read the books. I didn't really watch the movies. In my
Yeah.
house, we weren't allowed to watch witchcraft and all that kind of fun stuff, so I can't speak into it. But I hear it's great. I've seen great things. Like the concept of what it was has been great.
Yeah,
That's a great thing to grow from.
those were good. Yeah,
Right.
The people that really got into the books
Mm-hmm.
will watch the movies and be like, that didn't happen like that.
Oh, see, then they'll nitpick it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Courtney, I don't want to say she'll nitpick it, but she knows because she read the books.
Right.
And she didn't read them growing up. She read them in college because then
Oh.
she was like allowed to now.
Sure.
Because she's not living at home.
Right.
But yeah, she read the books and she can find spots where it's like it didn't happen like that in the book. Same with Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, all of those.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I read Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings. I did read that book, and I was like, I mean, I'm glad that they turned it into a book. Again, I'm a visual consumer. I like
Yeah.
to watch these things, so I actually don't hate on me, but I did prefer the movie over the book purely because it was just a visual. Like visually, they did a great job. Like
Yeah.
the imagery on that was just fantastic. Now the second and third one, I mean, subpar. They were great. I mean, I go back and watch them again today if I had to. I didn't read the books though, so I don't know. Did you? I did not read Witcher, which was on Netflix. I did enjoy them on Netflix. Then I found out that they were not only a book, but they were also a game. And so that's where I'm like, at the end of the day, like I kind of watch whatever seems remotely appealing to me, if it's a book or not.
heard that they did a good job with that show.
Right. I'm not recommending
book-
you go watch these things, but
Book
imagery,
and
great show.
game.
Game.
Like they
I heard the game's really good, actually.
Yeah. I think I don't know if I know anyone that plays that
You're a
game.
gamer. You never played it?
That's not my type of game.
Me neither.
Um,
No, I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons kind of guy. Not that that's that kind of. Well, it's close. Like Dungeons and Monsters more so. But
there was something I was going to say about.
didn't they make a movie called Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes, they did.
Is it any good?
No.
See,
I mean, I haven't
Leave
seen
it alone.
I haven't seen it,
Just
but
leave it
based on
alone.
trail, like it doesn't feel like
It doesn't feel like it would be a good.
It doesn't feel like it would be a good
Okay,
thing.
that's what I'm
The
afraid
people
of.
that play Dungeons and Dragons,
Uh-huh.
that like do the, you know,
The thing.
sort of just the role playing game.
Yeah, that whole bit.
I think they enjoyed it. I have a friend that does that, and he thought it was
It is raining, by the way.
okay.
Yeah, but keep going.
He thought it was good.
Okay.
Or I think he thought it was good.
Wow.
Is that going to be okay? I think it'll be fine.
I mean, I'll have to try and duck it down.
This will be the
other part.
This will
to
be
the,
a test
Listen,
of
this
the
is such
audio
a fun episode of testing everybody's patience
and audio.
and audio. It's
Yeah.
going to be great. It's going to be great.
Um,
Holy smokes.
wow. Maybe we should pause for a second.
Okay, we'll
I
pause.
have a question.
Okay.
I'm going to say it so that we have a recording of it.
Okay. But we can go back and let's do it again.
But
I can pause this and go back.
So
Wow.
basically what I want to know is thoughts on if you watch a movie and then go and read the book. Like
Which one's
being
better?
able to being able to visualize the characters better.
Oh.
Of course, the rain stops now. But being able to visualize the characters better after watching the movie first. I did that with Harry Potter.
Okay.
I saw all the movies first, and then I went back and read the books. And as I'm reading it, I can,
You can
see the
see-
thing happening, even if the
That's cool.
story is different
That's cool.
slightly. Like if there's details that they added in or that were in the book that weren't in the movie.
Right.
Like I can fill that in with the characters that
Right.
I already know what they look like now. It makes it easier, I think, to read the books if you've seen the
So
movie
then
first.
I would say this.
And-
Yes.
And
Go ahead.
any details that they left out of the movie, it's
Get
just like
filled in with the
extra.
book.
It gets filled in with the book.
Yeah.
It's like an extra thing that you're getting with reading.
I like that. Well, so let me put it to this way. I think as you are, however you consume content, whether it's visually, audibly, or like you do it through like literature and reading and stuff, I think as you, especially as we're building out movies today, I would hope that they start creating more original content. I think we've done too many remakes, too many musicals, too many. We'll just keep adding on to a current story, and we'll just keep getting sequel and sequel and sequel. I think we're done with that. I
Crossovers.
think yes, yeah, blended multiverses.
Yeah.
Like I think it's time to. I mean, I'm ready to see, or even potentially come up with some of our own original video content and shoot stuff for ourselves. All right, well, I think I'm going to wrap this one up because we're already 23 minutes on here. I don't know how much longer we've been on the videos, but this was a good conversation.
That was good.
Well done.
Yeah.
This was really good.
Show prep.
Show prep. Thank you, Dylan.
Just a little bit.
Shout out Dylan Craig
Yes.
for show prep. Go you.
All right.
All right.
I think that's it.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the Bold Studio Podcast. We'll talk to you later. Oh my gosh. Bye.